This story is about a boy whose father passed away when he was just 2 years old. His mother worked incredibly hard to raise him. As he grew older, he faced challenges in his business, including being deceived by a business partner. Despite all of this, he went on to create one of the most luxurious cars in history, Mercedes-Benz. Carl Benz was born to a housewife mother and a father who was a locomotive driver. Tragically, his father died when Carl was only 2 years old, forcing his mother to work various jobs to support him. Observing his mother's hard work, Carl was inspired and became a dedicated student. At 15, he qualified for mechanical engineering and joined the Karlsruhe Polytechnic School. After completing his education, Carl worked several jobs, from construction to drafting and designing. Through these experiences, he realized that the era of horse-drawn carriages was coming to an end, and that self-propelled vehicles would be the future. At the age of 27, he quit his job and partnered with a mechanic named August Ritter to start a metalworking factory. In his free time, Carl worked on developing a self-propelled car. However, the partnership turned sour as August Ritter owned shares in the company, and Carl couldn't easily leave the business because his livelihood depended on it. But Carl's soon-to-be wife, Bertha Ringer, came to his rescue. Using her dowry, she bought out Ritter's shares, leaving only Bertha and Carl as owners of the factory. Over the next 10 years, Carl Benz secured several patents, including innovations like the ignition system for engines, gear shifts, clutches, carburetors, engine cooling systems, spark plugs, and speed regulators. Despite these advancements, the company struggled financially, leading Carl to sell some of the company's shares to investors. Eventually, he was left with just 5% ownership and was demoted by the other shareholders. Disheartened, Carl left the company and met two brothers, Max Rose and Friedrich Wilhelm, who owned a bicycle shop. Together, they formed a new company, Benz & C. This new venture gave Carl the time and resources to work on his engines, and in 1885, he developed the Benz patent motorwagen, the world's first self-propelled car. It had a top speed of 16 kilometers per hour, 10 miles per hour, but the first model was difficult to control, leading to a public crash during a demonstration. It didn't sell well initially. In 1888, Carl's wife Bertha took matters into her own hands. She believed in the potential of Carl's car, even if he was hesitant about its promotion. On August 4, 1888, without telling her husband, she woke early, took their two sons, and drove the motor wagon to her mother's house, 106 kilometers away. Along the way, people were terrified, having never seen a vehicle moving without horses. She stopped at a pharmacy to buy Ligron, a petroleum solvent, as there were no gas stations back then. This pharmacy is now considered the world's first fuel station. Bertha made several repairs along the way, even using a hairpin to fix the car. At one point, the car's wooden brakes wore down and she stopped at a shoemaker's shop to install leather brakes. After 12 hours, she reached her mother's house and later sent a telegram to her husband, informing him of her safe arrival. A few days later, she returned in the same car. This trip gave the Benz company immense publicity, and it led to improvements in the car's design, especially the brakes. Thanks to Bertha's courage and ingenuity, the Benz company gained worldwide attention, and their internal combustion engine became a huge success. By 1897, they had sold 1,200 cars, which was a significant number at the time, as most people still used horse-drawn carriages. However, Benz soon faced competition from another company, Daimler Motors, which was producing cars that rivaled Benz's designs. Daimler's partners, Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach, were not only excellent engineers, but also savvy businessmen, unlike Carl Benz, who struggled with the business side of things. Daimler Motors eventually released their masterpiece, the 35 horsepower, 35 HP car, which further increased competition. The owners of Daimler Motor Companies agreed to merge, and this model became incredibly famous. However, the economic situation in Germany wasn't great, which led to poor sales for both Benz and Daimler cars. So, both companies decided to merge. They actually did just that, forming the Daimler-Benz company. From then on, instead of calling the models by the combined names of Daimler and Benz, they decided to go with Mercedes-Benz. All these models were designed by a very famous designer named Ferdinand Porsche. I'm sure you've heard of the name. In April 1929, Karl Benz passed away at the age of 84. After that, Adolf Hitler entered the picture. Hitler loved Mercedes-Benz so much that he used to travel in one himself. He wanted the world to know that German cars were the best, so he told Daimler-Benz to make the fastest car in the world. And they did exactly that, as the majority of world car races during that time were won by Benz cars. Another company winning car races back then was Auto Union, which was also a German company. Then, in 1939, World War II began. During the war, Hitler instructed most German companies to focus solely on producing products for the army. Daimler-Benz followed this directive, halting their main production to start building vehicles and trucks for Nazi Germany. When the company was ordered to produce even more trucks, they initially hired women workers. But when that wasn't enough, they forced Jewish prisoners to work for them. At one point, 63,000 prisoners were working for Benz under forced labor. When Germany lost the war, Daimler-Benz's image was severely tarnished due to the use of forced labor. The company also had to surrender all of its manufacturing plants outside Germany. Only their German plants remained. Afterward, Daimler-Benz began rebuilding its image by producing ambulances and later vehicles for the police. Eventually, they started making cars for the general public again. In the financial year 2022, the company sold 2.4 million cars, with a total value of $164 billion. After World War II, they launched one luxury car after another, starting with the W17 200e full-size luxury car in 1950, followed by the Grand Tour luxury car, W16 300, and many more iconic models through the years. And that's the incredible story of Mercedes-Benz, a brand that has redefined luxury and performance for decades. If you enjoyed learning about the journey of this iconic brand, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.